and welcome to TalkFCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to round 28 in La Liga, and following, of course, a very intense week of Champions League action. The stakes were seriously high. We're through to the quarterfinals, but right now, attention switches back to La Liga. All eyes on the league title. It's Barcelona heading to Real Betis here in what will be a very tricky game indeed. Will we complete our week? Really finish it here in some style? We are gonna find out. And for the Sunday night kickoff game, we'll be heading to the city of Sevilla, to the Benito Villamarin to face Real Betis. Kickoff will be coming to us at 8:45 p.m. local time in what should be there a fantastic atmosphere, as it always is in Betis. When they get behind their team, it is absolutely incredible there. And you guys have been predicting, and I can see here that you're certainly torn between a win by 2 goals and a win here by 3+ goals. Very confident as always. I think a few of you there understanding the threat certainly that Real Betis pose, and of course they're going to be coming onto it in a minute. That previous meeting that we do have against them this season. Elsewhere in La Liga this weekend, Real Madrid against Celta Vigo there. Zinedine Zidane returning, of course, as Real Madrid coach, and Atletico Madrid there with quite a tricky game against Athletic Club from San Mamés. That could be certainly a banana skin there after their bad week in the Champions League from Atletico Madrid. And if we look here at the La Liga table as it stands right now, and certainly when you look at that there, the lead at the top that we have, we want to strengthen that, we want to maintain that, we certainly want to stay there. But I think what we have to do now is get the points on the board. Get the points on the board now. Try and get as far ahead as we possibly can ahead of those Champions League games. The Champions League games against Man United are going to take up a lot of our attention. A lot of our intensity is going to go into those games, and certainly around that, we have some big games in La Liga. If by the time we get to those games, we can see ourselves nicely clear, that would be there a really, really nice barrier. We want the league title, of course. It is a big priority in our season, but the Champions League is the ultimate, and we want to make our life as easy as it possibly can be around those games. And in terms of our opposition, Real Betis, as I've said already, it will certainly not be an easy game. I think we're all very much aware of that, but it has been quite a mixed season, both domestically and also in Europe for Real Betis this season, it has to be said. Partly because I think last season, finishing in the European places, qualifying then for the Europa League, it almost spoiled, I feel, the Real Betis fans. They're also kind of now expecting maybe more than what they should be. And I think right now, maybe they do need to just lower their expectations just a tiny bit, simply because they are quite unhappy right now with Quique Setién. And that is a massive, massive surprise to me, particularly when you look at him, what he's done in terms of their football, their style, and of course the results they have been getting since he's come in as their coach. But at the end of February, as Betis were knocked out of the Europa League by Rennes, that was a bad defeat for them, and just a week later, knocked out then of the Copa del Rey by Valencia. In that first leg, they really did blow it. 2 goals up, they blew that then, and in the second leg, Valencia went through, and it was a home defeat just days later to Getafe, which really led some of the fans then to actually vocally disapprove of Quique Setién being in charge of their club, which I think there is very, very unfair. They have played some incredible football over his time there. He's come in, and certainly now Betis have an identity, they have a philosophy, they have a way of playing. Before he came in, there was none of that. They were down the bottom half of the table. They weren't really a team who stood out. They weren't really a team who really took you by your imagination. You didn't really sit down and enjoy watching them. I think right now Quique Setién is doing all of the right things, and you have to really understand here what Real Betis are as a club. They are fans who really do get behind their side, but at the same time, when things don't go right, they do certainly turn. So if you get the first goal tomorrow, it might get a bit edgy inside the Benito Villamarin, and you might be able to play really on that lack of confidence right now at Real Betis. But if we think back to our previous meeting against Real Betis earlier on this season, we can certainly see their potential, and you can see there exactly what they're capable of and what they can do when they're in full flow. They came to the camp now on Messi's return, of course, from his arm injury. He came back into the team. The feeling was good. We thought we were going to get the win with Messi back in the team, but ultimately, Real Betis walked all over us. They didn't just come and snatch and grab a 1-0 win. They came, they saw, they conquered, they dominated the game, they were passing it around us, they outplayed us on our own field in the camp now, and ultimately, they outscored us. 4 goals in the process for Real Betis to our 3, and that is undoubtedly what we have to be wary of, especially in their own stadium, when Betis, like I say, when they get behind their team, it can be a real fortress there at the Benito Villamarin. But if we just turn our attention to Barcelona right now, when you look at certainly our current form, it is absolutely outstanding. You couldn't really be asking for too much more at the moment. We have been brilliant since those big games began. We've stepped up. We really have risen our game. We look at the game against Sevilla. We really rose on that occasion. Messi with that hat-trick. We then beaten Real Madrid twice. And then, of course, emphatically dispatching Lyon in the Champions League earlier on this week, which will give us massive, massive confidence. And that right there is 5 impressive wins in a row since our draw with Lyon back in the first leg. We've scored 16 times in those games since and conceded just 4 times. And that's the key here. Can we maintain that level of performance and, most importantly, that level of intensity? Because after such a great result on Wednesday, such a great run that we're on right now in those big matches, it's very, very easy to just drop off a tiny bit. You've had a great result in Europe. I'm sure they celebrated that. I'm sure they're very happy, of course, with the draw as well. Very excited, looking forward to that. But it's quite easy now to come into this game and just drop your level just a tiny bit. And against a team like Betis, who will come for you, they will press, they will be brave, Quique Setien will demand that of his players. It will be difficult if you just drop that level, because of course you look on the horizon here, there's an international break coming up. After this game, some of these squad will have a much needed rest, and it is needed because it has been a gruelling few weeks for these players. But here, can we just squeeze just a tiny bit more out of the team, get over the line, put in one more good performance before this break? I think here we certainly need that. We cannot afford to drop off. Certainly dropping our level here would be asking for trouble with Real Betis. And for that reason, Valverde's team selection is going to be very interesting indeed. And I think looking ahead in particular to that international break, there are 2 players that will not be appearing for their countries, and that is Clement Lenglet and Gerard Piqué. Somehow, Clement Lenglet has been ignored by Didier Deschamps, and he is not going to be called up for France. Samuel Umtiti has been, but I just want to think about that international break, Piqué and Lenglet getting that rest, because those are 2 players that have been called upon so often this season. They've really been delivering as late, both individually and as a partnership, and I think those 2 weeks rest there in that international break is vital. Piqué, of course, he's played so many games this season, so many minutes. He's been brilliant, absolutely sensational as of late. And I think that break there, that rest is going to be vital for those 2 key players. And listening to Ernesto Valverde in his press conference that I think certainly he's not going to be taking Real Betis lightly. His focus now is certainly back on La Liga, and that's why I think certainly we are going to see a very strong team here. We are going to see maybe 1 or 2 changes simply because that performance against Lyon would have taken a lot out of the team. It was a really high intensity game, particularly in that first half. We worked really hard. I think we're going to see 1 or 2 here, but I think overall heading to the Benito Villamarín, it's a tough stadium, it's a tough place to go, and of course with that international break coming, you could afford maybe in this game to play some guys and then they'll get their rest, then they'll go off with their countries, maybe they'll feature for 1 out of the 2 games and they'll get their rest that way. So I think Valverde here is going to go strong. Ter Stegen in goal, Jordi Alba of course continuing there at left back. I think we might see 1 change at centre back, but obviously with that news that I just told you about Lenglet and Piqué getting that rest, I wouldn't be surprised to see them stay together. But I think Umtiti obviously needs some game time. He needs to get back into the swing of things. I think Valverde could play him alongside Piqué in this game. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Nelson Semedo returning there at right back. Of course, Roberto got the nod in the Champions League, but Semedo here in an away game, Valverde often likes to use him in those kind of performances. We may see him there at right back. Into midfield, and I think Busquets, Arthur and Rakitic is certainly our best midfield, no doubt about that. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Arturo Vidal pop up either by a starter or coming off the bench later in the game when we're looking to either close it out or change the momentum, just like he did against Lyon and just like he did as well in the league games you've seen this season, coming off the bench and having that impact. I think that Coutinho is certainly going to start in the front 3 alongside Suarez and Lionel Messi, simply because Valverde doesn't seem to trust in Malcolm whatsoever. I hope we see Malcolm in some capacity, whether it be by a start, which would really surprise me, or perhaps via the bench coming on in the latter stages in the second half, maybe if we needed a goal, or maybe if we were going to try and get another one. But I think that there is going to be a strong team. Valverde here is going to take no chances. He wants the 3 points. You've got Atletico Madrid playing today, Real Madrid playing today, getting their points on the board, and then of course you look to our game to respond there, maintain our lead at the top, extend it of course in the coming weeks if we can do, and also finishing on a positive note ahead of that international break following what has been here a very good week. And so of course course, now all that's left to do is for me to leave my prediction for this coming match, and I'm going to go here with the Barcelona win. I think we are going to go strong. I think we are going to follow up that good win against Lyon, which will really boost our confidence. I'm going to go here with Barcelona 2, Real Betis 0. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tough. We're going to have to really work to break Real Betis down. I think they're certainly going to threaten. They're going to have their chances. Ter Stegen might have to be forced into a few saves. But I think here we are going to win the game. I'm going to go with a clean sheet as well. Our defence of late has been very, very impressive. Barcelona 2, Real Betis 0. But of course, guys, leave your thoughts and your predictions in the comments down below. I will see you tomorrow for the big game itself. Let's look forward to that one. One final push here. Let's do this. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça.